Hello everyone, this is Steven from the Even Steven channel, and today we're taking a look at the Henry Model X. Henry refers to sometimes as the big boy X model. I think most people just call it the Model X. Henry, why Henry? Why buy Henry? Made in America, true. Lifetime warranty, true. #1 customer service, that's debatable. I mean, I don't know. It's a little boastful, Henry. Reliable and accurate. I would say that's true. So we're going to take a look at the Henry Model X in 357 Magnum. And what do we got here? An empty box. Because what I said before is these are cheap, flimsy cardboard boxes that Henry uses, and I don't care to use them. Here's the manual, which is universal across all models of Henry Model X rifles and shotguns. So you can get the gun in 4570, 410 shotgun, 44 Magnum, 45 Colt, or 357 Magnum. This is the 357 Magnum version and has a capacity of 7 rounds. It says weight 7.5, which means that I think everyone, all of them, are going to weigh 7.5 pounds. Otherwise, there isn't a whole lot in the box. I think this came around the gun. This is actually kind of interesting. It actually tells you pretty much when the gun was made. January of this year. So coming less than 1 year old. I don't even think there's a trigger lock in here. I don't think it came with it. I wouldn't have taken it out. So let's get that out of the way. And this is what I actually keep the rifle in. I keep it in its own dedicated soft case, which Henry sells. And oh wow, I'm pulling at the tablecloth now, which Henry sells, and I like it. It's I think about $40, and it's pretty nice. There we go. There's the gun. Excuse all that wrangling. But here we have the big boy Model X. Very nice. Now I have a previous video on another Henry rifle. That was the 44 Magnum. That was the steel big boy. And I had a few criticisms about that gun. First of all, I didn't like the sights. I didn't like the loading gate here. Get to wide a little bit. And I didn't like the cheap, flimsy box it came in. And I thought those were all valid criticisms. I still think they are. So I liked the gun, and just those things I didn't care for. And some people just lost their mind. Like I had insulted their mother. I don't know. I don't know what to say. Get over it. Other than that, you know, I thought it was very complimentary to the gun, but some people just couldn't handle a little bit of criticism. So today we're going to talk about the Henry Big Boy Model X, the Model X. And I have to say, I think this is basically the modern lever action gun. Practical, tactical, everything you need, nothing you don't. And I think it's a very well thought out gun. So for those people who thought I was too critical of 44 Magnum version, you know, the wood and steel 44 Magnum version, maybe I can redeem myself in your eyes. So let's go through this gun back to front as I normally do. So if you can't see, this is obviously a lever action gun, all black. I'd like in the future maybe Henry can introduce some models with maybe a little bit of green furniture or FDE. That'd be nice, but black is very practical. We're going to start with the stock. This is a very heavy-duty polymer stock. This actually weighs more than the wood stock that you could put on here. It weighs more than the wood counterpart. So this is a very heavy-duty, rugged lever-action gun. Got a nice little pistol grip here. This is actually... Oh, I'm going to turn it around. If you ever need to look, the model number will be here on the guns. Model number, serial number. You know, very traditional style of buttstock. Nice little Henry logo there. Very thick very useful rubber recoil pad. Even though 357 Magnum is not all that powerful in a rifle, the weight of the gun and the recoil pad really does tame it very well. Have a sling sling stud there. A nice, I guess, medium-sized loop. It's not small, it's not big. It's kind of a medium size, and I think it's well thought out. Go back this way. We have the hammer. I'm going to rest that on the table a little bit. Might as well do a safety check while we're here. Not loaded. Have the hammer. There is no safety notch. There's no half-cock notch. Henry says that if you have this in its most forward position, then that is basically the safety position. That's basically the safe position. The gun has a transfer bar safety and just cannot fire no matter what you do. You can smack that all day long. Henry says it's not going to go off. I would like a half-cock position personally, but there's no manual safety, no half-cock, just that. We have the loading gate. I think in general, lever action guns can sometimes be a little bit finicky with the loading gate. And over time, with a lot of use, over many, many years, not just the 1 year I've had this, or the maybe 6 or 8 months that I've had this gun, but over years and years and years, then the lever action, the gates kind of work themselves in. So, but I've noticed that with all lever action guns, they tend to be a little bit finicky, a little bit. You got to do just right. But when you get it down, you can get it in pretty quickly. We have the ejection port, really. It is possible to kind of just throw rounds in there. They don't always perfectly line up, but it is possible to just kind of throw them in there. If you get the right angle, you can close it in like that. Sorry for so awkwardly showing this on camera. We have the receiver. It is drilled for a scope mount. It would have been nice if Henry could have just put a very low profile Picatinny mount right here. If that's a price point option, I kind of understand, but that would have been nice. However, it's an easy fix. If you want to put a scope on here, you can. Very little going on the right side. I guess that's the left side. Just the screws and pins that hold everything together. The sights. The sights on the Henry Model X are excellent. That was one of my major criticisms of the 44 Magnum version. Just I didn't like them. It doesn't necessarily mean they're bad. I don't like them. I had trouble using them. You got a nice big green fiber optic front sight and red fiber optic rear sight. And the sight picture, which would be hard to show you on camera. Let's see how close we can get to this. We're almost there. Yeah, I'd like the sight picture there. You have that rear sight kind of sloping a little bit, and the front sight kind of nestles in the front there. And I like that sight picture. And from the factory, this is pretty well zero. Maybe just ever so slightly to the right. But pretty well zero from the factory. Good job, Henry. And this does say caliber 357 Magnum 38 Special. It will take either one. And why don't we just whip out a couple of rounds while we're at it. So for anyone who doesn't know, the original cartridge was 38 Special. That's the OG cartridge. And this one had to be 132 grains at about 700 feet per second. But people wanted more power. So here's 38 Special. You know, it's just... So then 357 Magnum was developed, and you have more grains going faster. At least in these particular loads. And what happened was, to make sure people weren't putting 357 Magnum in 38 Special guns, they lengthened the case. So the overall length is pretty much the same, even just slightly longer in 357 Magnum. But this ensures that if you have a 38 Special gun, you cannot put the 357 Magnum in it. But if you have a 357 Magnum gun, you can definitely put either one in. Just be careful. See how you have this slightly shorter case? If you put a lot of 38 Special in your Magnum gun, you can get a lot of fouling. And that fouling can make it difficult to load your gun when you actually go back to put the Magnum rounds back in. Keep in mind. But that's where that comes from. You can put, if you have a 357 Magnum gun like this is, you can shoot 357 Magnum or 38 Special equally fine. In 357 Magnum, this gun is very pleasant to shoot. Very pleasant to shoot. In 38 Special, it's like a BB gun. It's like a 22. It's nothing. In fact, it's so little recoil that I don't like to shoot 38 Special because it's not enough. Like, I want a little kick. So, I prefer 357 Magnum when I can find it. Like, the sights are good. 357 Magnum. We have the handguard. The handguard is very well designed. So you have a kind of a traditional handguard here. It's not that crazy aluminum stuff, which looks nice. Those like Ranger Point Precisions or Midwest Industries aluminum handguards look nice, but you don't need that. You have a nice kind of traditional looking handguard here. And you have a, sorry, got on camera properly. You have a sling stud here. And then forward of that, forward of the sling stud, you have Picatinny space. I have a TLR3 on here, just what I had lying around, thought it looked good. And you have M-lock slots on this side and this side. Ooh, very nice, very well thought out, because now you can put like a bipod on here, you can put a flashlight here, you can put a laser there. You have 3 points you can put accessories on. And that's really all you need. What else are you going to put on there? We have a 17.5-inch barrel. That's an odd choice. And we have a 7-round capacity, like I said. So here's the loading gate. And you have the choice. You can load from either here, or you could kind of undo this, pull it out, and throw some cartridges in here. And I said I didn't really think that was necessary. I don't think we really need that. And some people complain, well, you could, if you ever needed to, you could just open this up and dump all the cartridges out. I don't know. I mean, some people might like this, that's fine. But here's my thing. Here's my criticism or my concern or my sticking point. If this loading gate here reduces the capacity at all of the gun, which I believe it does, because this only holds 7 rounds, you got a lot of tube here. This is seven rounds. I believe having this loading gate here reduces the capacity of the guns. And if that is the case, I don't want it. I want more rounds. It only holds 7 rounds in the magazine. So, I still feel that way. If you don't, well, okay, you don't. And lastly, we have a threaded barrel, which is a great thing to have on a lever action gun because a lot of guns don't come with it from the factory. And then you got to pay for it. You can have someone do it for you. Wow, these threadings go for a long time. I thought they would come on and off real quick. And what that does is that gives you options. You can put a compensator on it, which I don't think does a whole lot. I had this in 4570. I had the Henry Model X in 4570, and I put the Ranger Point Precision Comet compensator on here, and I don't think it did very much. And I think the reason for that is if you put a compensator on a firearm that has a relatively low velocity anyway, the compensator doesn't do all that much. And calibers like 357 Magnum, 44 Magnum, 4570 aren't going all that fast, so compensators don't do all that much. What you really want in here is a suppressor. Something like a Henry Model X, like this, with 38 Special, with a suppressor on it, would be supremely quiet. It would be very quiet. It would be an excellent varmint gun, says me. So, yeah, I think it would be. Not that I've done it, but I can envision that being a very, very useful option to put a suppressor on here and be a very, very quiet hunting rifle. I think I mentioned before, shooting this is really fun. 357 Magnum in a rifle. You take a very potent cartridge like 357 Magnum out of a revolver, put it into a rifle, and it's almost too easy. It's almost too soft shooting. Working the lever is fun. You know, this is pretty smooth. I'm doing a little bit awkwardly on camera because I'm not, it's not against my shoulder. It's not. While this doesn't look all that fine doing it now, actually shooting it, running it back and forth, the gun's very smooth to cycle, very fast to shoot, very fun to shoot. I do have a little bit of targets. Where are my targets? Looking around. Ah, here we go. So this is me shooting at 25 yards. So I'm not even all that far. This is 357 Magnum supported. And I think what I was doing was I had the sights like on the very bottom of this target. So the gun is shooting pretty much point of aim at 25 yards, but I was just aiming right here instead of aiming like right here. And this is 357 Magnum unsupported. So I guess I'm not really the best rifle shooter, to be honest. If my supported and unsupported shots are about the same. So admittedly, I'm not the best rifle shooter. There you go. I'll say it. This is 357 Magnum unsupported. I think I'm just aiming a little bit higher because I realize that I need to be aiming here. And the gun is just a little bit to the right. Could also just be me. And this is, for whatever reason, I decided to fire a little bit 38 special. 38 special unsupported. It looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just 5 shots. So, someone better than me could do better than that. Now, what do I think this gun is good for? I think this is a very practical do-all gun. Like, this could be a hunting gun. This could be a home defense gun. Home defense gun, really? Well, I mean, you know, load this up with a suppressor. It'd be very quiet. And not ideal. I think an ideal home defense gun is like a 9mm handgun, a full-size 9mm handgun with a light on it. But you know, you could do worse. Especially live in a place where you have restrictions about where you can and can't, what kinds of guns you can and can't own. You know, this could be a good truck gun, a good hunting gun, pushing into a home defense role. Put a suppressor on there if you want. I think it's a very well thought out gun. It's basically the modern, practical, tactical lever action gun. It has everything you need, nothing you don't. It's not all that fancy. And I think it would get the job done. So, Henry fans, have I redeemed myself in your eyes? I think this is a great gun. Again, I'm not thrilled about this little loading gate there. I know why it's there. It's there because Henry rifles had them all along and they kind of just kept that tooling. I prefer a little more capacity, but I get it. Alright, maybe I can acquiesce to that. Like the sights, it's fun to shoot, does everything I want. I don't know what to say. I will note this screw here seems to be backing out. I gotta tighten that down once in a while. I could Loctite that down, but I kind of just, every once in a while, just kind of crank it a little bit. And I think that will be it for today. That is the Henry Big Boy Model X in 357 Magnum. Excellent gun. Very well thought out design by Henry. I really do like this gun. This is going to stay in the collection. This is a collection gun. Highly recommended. And that will be it. This is Steven from the Even Steven channel. Please like, comment, subscribe, all those good YouTube things. Thank you, and goodbye.